Welcome. We are back. A lot is going on. It was a kind of flat day for the market, but there's quite a bit to talk about from today going into tomorrow. And yeah, right. A Twitter account named Fuzzy Panda Fuzzy put out a short report on Fisker, and I'm sure many of you saw. You're probably wondering why didn't I say anything on Twitter? Why didn't I talk about it? Oh, I was saving it for the stream. I saw everything. I saw it all right. I wanted to make sure that we had it as a main topic for the stream. I wanted to save the sweet stuff for the live stream. Okay, we're going to talk about it. We will. We're going to look at it, and I'm going to share some of my opinions on it. AMC was up a very nice amount today. If you're in premium, congratulations. If you're not and you watch the stream, congratulations. We're going to talk about that too. And let's talk about everything else. We're going to start off with crypto. Nothing really has changed since yesterday. There's not much to update here. You're just consolidating the same thing as last night. Resistance is around 17.5K from that low in June. And then support from your recent lows is around 15.5K on Bitcoin. Ethereum is still consolidating above the inflection zone. Very nice to see it above 1200 in general. Hopefully it can just stay above this. And if it can continue to do so, there's not a lot of resistance. The US 10-year, we talked about that bearish engulfing candle yesterday. And there we are at the 3.5% mark pretty much. When we were up here, I said 3.5% is your next level. It was these highs, okay, from June of this year. and now you're at that level. So this is finally the first time where I was bearish really since like right over here. I was even bearish up over here too. This whole entire way I've been bearish. Now I'm at the point where, okay, it's pulled back. You're testing a previous resistance. On the RSI, you're close to oversold. The MACD is winning a bit. Maybe there could be a little bit of room for a dead cat bounce here. So that's really what I'm looking at. If that level does break for the 10-year, then down to like 3.2 is the next one. That's some highs from 2018. Crude oil, kind of just doing the same thing. A little bit of a shooting star candle today after a few days bouncing off support. Losing a little bit of volume, might be room for a little bit of a bear flag to start forming. We'll see what happens there. And really quickly, let's just look at energy, which is continuing to make slightly lower highs under resistance. Might start to roll over if it breaks that. You kind of have a little bit like a mini triangle forming, so you have that as well. Metals, gold, more follow through price action to the upside, breaking above resistance, and now testing a breakout of the 200-day moving average for the first time since June. Silver also going higher after the breakout we talked about yesterday. There is room here for silver. There is room. You're above resistance now. As long as you hold above 2140-ish, there is a lot more room. We'll see what happens. The dollar currency index breaking. The same day the SPY is kind of breaking out of the 200-day moving average, the dollar currency index is breaking the 200. Did I just say the $200 moving? The 200-day moving average. All right, it's been a long day. The dollar is breaking under the 200-day moving average at the same time. You're kind of testing some lows here at 104 back from August. I don't know if I'm like allergic to streaming, but every single night I go live, I have to sneeze. It's the craziest thing ever. But you're testing that low. Let's move over to the Hang Seng Index, pulling back a little bit. Yesterday you gapped up and then you kind of sold off. There is this gap fill a little bit lower than where you're currently at, so there is that too. And now let's move into the overall market. What is up, Silent Dawn in the chat? I repair. I hope you enjoy the pickle bar. What's up, D and the guy? All right, so you are still testing a breakout. I wouldn't say that you're really broken out yet. You definitely have now closed above the 200-day moving average for 2 days on the SPY, which is good, but you're still just testing a breakout of this descending broadening wedge. You're literally right at the trend line. You could see you tapped it over here, tapped it over here, and you tapped it over here. This is now the fourth time. There is a 76% chance of this actually breaking out due to this partial decline. I very quickly have changed my stance to a little bit more neutral. I was definitely bearish a few days ago, but with Powell speaking yesterday, it just kind of changed everything if you caught last night's stream. So now we're just at a make or break area. I have a very open mind here, and honestly, I would prefer we break out of it. I would like to see a little bit of more continuation, even though it's already been a very good rally. Volume was average today, it looks like, on 4 hour. You just back tested this 405 level. It's not a huge level. You have some lows here from May of last year. You use that as support today, and then you kind of just had a very quiet afternoon. On the 1 hour, however, let's go on to even lower time frames. You might have a little bit of a wedge forming going into tomorrow, something like this. That is something to keep an eye on. But overall on the daily, as long as you can just continue to hold these areas, there's still a chance. Technically, all you would need to do is go sideways tomorrow to get above this trend line because it's down sloping. And yeah, it's an okay day. You had a huge day yesterday. Not typically, but sometimes after a huge move in the market, you follow that up with the rest day because everybody's just still digesting what happened the day before. So it's nothing really too crazy. We still need more data. There's not much of any technical change from last night's stream, but it's not like we've reversed. We could have just had a negative 2% day and just kind of rejected all this. At least we're staying in the same area for right now. See what happens. The Qs as well. Doji candle today. I don't really see much of a signal from that. I'm not going to say it's bearish or bullish. It's just kind of the same thing as yesterday. And I just feel like today was just a little bit of a filler price action day. You just were kind of trying to keep the same areas that you were able to get up to in the close yesterday. And I'm not complaining about it. You did lose a little bit of volume, but you're still holding these levels. And again, just to keep in mind for tomorrow, you do have like small wedges forming on lower time frames. Maybe you pull back a little bit, but as long as you can hold the majority of this gain we saw from that Powell speech, even if we were to do something like this, like as long as you can hold the majority of it, I don't think it's too much of an issue for right now. Moving on to the Russell 2000, still under 188, still testing that level. It was lows from back in February. It's your resistance. Getting above it could be huge. If it does break, there's not much to like 195, which are these two highs from August of this year. So it's trying. Honestly, surprised me that it is even trying. I thought it was going to roll over here, maybe bounce or fall back down to 173, and maybe bounce there, but it's still going for it. See what happens. However, flat day in the market, just digesting the move. We did see some life in mid caps. The ARK ETF was up 1%. It was able to move a little bit higher throughout the day. Again, not much of a technical change, but just the fact that we're not immediately rolling back over after the move yesterday, I think is a good signal, at least for right now. All right, and then finally the VIX going lower and lower, kind of defeating the purpose of this bat at this point. It could turn into an alternate bat much lower, but for right now, continuing lower. I probably would retread this on the 4-hour to that supply line, and we'll wait to see when the next move is. Your next support is around 19.18. All right, so that's the overall market. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there tonight because it was a flat day and we're just kind of seeing the same price action. Really nothing has changed since yesterday. Let's move into some other names now. Okay, let's talk about Fisker first, which was down 5% today. And the timing of this is a little bit weird to me. It's just a little bit weird to me. I'm just going to put it like that. Fisker finally had a nice green day after selling off for about 2 weeks. Had a nice 7% green day yesterday. It's starting to develop, or it has a chance of developing some hidden bullish divergence. It's made a third consecutive higher low. It broke out of this wedge. It was starting to curl up. And then today in the morning, Fuzzy Panda, whoever that is, released this. All right, we are short Fisker, exposing a $800 million undisclosed bank guarantee. If you're not familiar, Fisker has had a very large cash position since it was a SPAC, due to it being a SPAC, and they were able to keep a lot of that money up until now. Yes, they have spent some money. Yes, they're not making a lot of revenue. Their product is not even really on the roads yet. So they're a pre-revenue company. They have a lot of cash, and their model is marketed as asset light because they're outsourcing their production to Magna, Foxconn, etc. But Panda Fuzzy says that they're liability heavy, and they released this report, and I just want to start with this. This is the first major point that I want to start with. I did look at this report today. The fact that they are making so many references to the past, in my opinion, shows, or nothing here is a certainty. Let me start with that. But just the fact that they're trying to make so many connections to the past gives me the feeling that there is something about this that is personal. Because yes, that is something to account for. I've literally talked about their failures in the past in my breakdown videos for Fisker. I have mentioned that too. But to try and mention that while you're also trying to put out a short report on their current company just gives me a weird vibe. It just feels like they're grasping and pulling for things that are not relevant right now. They are important to note, and I get the point that they were trying to make. I get the story that they were trying to write, but it just, in my opinion, isn't something that should be affecting the stock price today. It's something to note as investors, but it's something that really has nothing to do with what they're currently doing. And that was the major red flag to me in reading this, and how they were trying to say, oh, because of certain things that happened in the past, you can't trust them now, whatever. Like, it was a very different company. I'm not going to go into everything. I do have a breakdown. I think my first breakdown video on Fisker literally talks about the situation of the old company. I just don't understand that part, but we're going to read through it. So the cash is all tied up, saying that they made bank guarantees to Magna, their contract manufacturer, and they did some due diligence, or so they thought. And they're saying that Fisker began drawing down their ATM and doing cost cuts in spring 2022. The CFO said they were testing the ATM's plumbing. I actually don't even know what that means. And Fisker will need to keep drawing heavily on the ATM to cover future losses. So they're kind of getting to the point that they're just burning cash, and they're kind of lying about what they're doing, right? And then this is the part where it's like, why include this? Yes, it happened, but it's just weird to me that they're trying to relate this to why the stock should be shorted right now. It just feels like they're trying to create a narrative to profit off of it. they are short Fisker and they're bringing up the past that doesn't relate. You can see I'm a little bit frustrated right now. You all know how I feel about this company, and I just feel like this is just slander for the most part. I do not know the absolute facts. I cannot for sure say everything here is fake, but there's a lot here that just doesn't add up and it's just painted very weirdly. So I'm literally just ignoring all of the old Fisker stuff. There really is no point in spending time. This stuff with misleading the Pope, I'm not too familiar with this situation either. I do remember that news coming out. All I can say is I'm sure there's some sort of reason. I'm sure there's been some sort of contact between the two. And if anything, like, this is more marketing than anything else. Like, I don't think most people are expecting the Pope to start going around in this Fisker Ocean. Like, it was marketing, it was making connections, whatever you want to call it. I think they're making too much of a big deal. Again, what does this have to really do with anything? I really don't know. It just feels like they're looking for any sort of negative thing to draw into the equation and just be like, oh, this is why we're short. I think the only part that could have made sense was this part. And this doesn't make sense because of this, which we're going to talk about in a second. So the only part of it that could have even made any sort of sense was literally disproven. So everything else here, they're just grasping, they're just reaching. They're talking about the past, they're talking about little things that I'm sure have already been discussed. Same thing here. This could have made sense, but go over here. Fisker owns the intellectual property for the ocean. So the only points that they were actually trying to make that actually even mattered were the points that were disproven. Fisker doesn't even have to say anything about this stuff over here because it's not relevant to the current situation of their company. So I just don't think they're understanding that most EV companies have faced a lot of inflation and supply chain issues. And that's what leads to a lot of these delays, even though Fisker is more on track than pretty much any other EV. If you look back, literally I just made a Fisker update video. On most of the things they said, they're still doing exactly what they said they were going to do. Most EV companies have had multiple earnings reports and earnings calls where they said, yeah, we were optimistic about certain things, but now we have to change it due to the current conditions of the economy, which is even a fair point, but Fisker's not even doing that. 90% of the things that they promise, they're still delivering and they're still doing it. So I just don't know what to say. Now they're talking about reservations. Again, there's no way for me to know this. I don't even know what they're looking at. But this is just all, I don't see anything here that actually has like importance other than the parts that could have been important if they were true but are disproven. So to see Fisker down 5% today because of some report like this, I don't want to say any bad words. It was just, I think, not hurtful, but just annoying. Like, congrats, Fuzzy Panda. The stock dropped 5%. Maybe it drops more for other reasons, who knows, but yeah. Today, Fisker made a response, and Fisker has responded to a report published by Panda Fuzzy Twitter account. I'm not going to actually say their name, they don't deserve it. They issued a cease and desist letter to the firm, which announced a short position at the same time it released a purported assessment containing numerous false and misleading allegations about Fisker's business operations and its relationship with Magna. Fisker does not have a bank guarantee with Magna, and Fisker owns the IP for the Ocean platform. The Ocean does not have 80% carryover parts from any other platform. Fisker intends to take immediate and aggressive action to address the false and misleading claims made by Panda Fuzzy Twitter account. Okay? So that's literally all they had to say. The only parts of their short report that actually mattered or could have mattered are false. So I just wanted to, I feel like I'm speaking for thousands and thousands of other investors that had to see this today. And I just wanted to get that off my chest. I think it's better that I did this on the stream, because if I did this on Twitter, you would have seen 20 paragraphs in all caps. So that's what's happened. Let's go back to the charts. I feel like that might have been one of the more passionate / emotional segments I've ever done on the stream, but there's history there, and that's why, right? Hopefully that was good entertainment. I don't know. But in terms of the actual price action, I mean, really it's just you sold off because of that report, and then you went back up, and now you're just going sideways. You're still above this swing low. I think in general, holding above this is the most important thing. That's your current swing low. It can hold that again. The case stands with the 3 higher lows. That's all I'm really looking for, and nothing too much apart from that. All right. So still in the wedge, nothing really has changed. Down 5% today. Still above lows. Just wanted to talk about it. Let's go to a more optimistic age now. Start off with the clip. The start of a next leg up for AMC. I mean, on the 4-hour chart, this looks like you literally just broke out of your consolidation. This is textbook stuff. See? AMC. Some people watching the stream know why I'm saying it 3 times. You're in a some C. AMC. Some people watching the stream know why I'm saying it 3 times. You're in a flag right now on the 4-hour. Same thing on the 1-hour. You're also flipping this resistance from the end of October into support with classic bullish divergence. If you are an avid stream watcher, I've talked about AMC every single night on the stream. I've talked about this same pattern for like the past 1 to 2 weeks. And AMC finally got the move that I've been hoping for today. And that's how it goes. And a lot of people can identify the same thing. A lot of people can see this bull flag and be like, yeah, there's a bull flag. Maybe it breaks up, maybe it keeps going. That's not too impressive. That's one of the first, that's probably my 3rd or 4th course video patterns, right? Now, what I'm trying to teach here is timing that, because there was most likely people trying to get in for that bull flag over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. Yesterday, alerted AMC swing options, swing idea. You could see on most of the options, I don't say swing. These are all day trades. Day trade, day trade, day trade. Let's see if we can even find the last time I alerted a swing on options. Here we go. The last time was over a month ago. Over a month ago, it was on GameStop and Tesla. Both of which I think actually worked out as well. Maybe I think this was marked to break even, and the GameStop ran like a lot. Yeah, GameStop ran like 1,000% or something. That's when GameStop broke out of the $28 area. That was this move. I did the same thing with GameStop like a month ago. I'm not going to lie. I'm gonna pat myself on the back here. It was literally right here. You just saw it. Right, you see this green candle. You see at the bottom it says October 28th, and then you see what happened the day after. That was the last time I alerted. You can see right over here. Here's the timestamp. That was the last time I alerted a swing call. All right. And then 1 month later, swing call AMC. Where did I alert it? The day before the crazy move. Right there, yesterday. I am the best trader of all time. I'm just kidding. I'm not the best trader of all time. How did I do it? How did I do this? All right. How did I do it on GameStop a month ago? How did I do it right now? Very, very small details are what allow traders to not only find the patterns, which most traders can do, but to get in at the perfect time. So you don't have opportunity cost and parking your cash into some flag or some sideways pattern for a month while you could have been trading a bunch of other things. It's always more preferable if you can get in right before the move happens. However, that's a lot easier said than done, right? So educationally, how was I able to identify this the day before, right? I've been watching this flag and I've been talking about this flag on the stream for like 2 weeks. Why have I not alerted swing calls on AMC until yesterday, which by the way ran 450% today? Well, let's go down to the 1 hour chart. You were flagging, whatever, good. However, you had never really gotten to a level. You had never really been to a support level. When you were over here, you had yet to fill this gap. Then you filled the gap and you were still bouncing off of that level. But there was no place in which traders could have seen, okay, there is a concrete level for if this trade does not work out, I can manage my risk around. A lot of the times when you have a range or you have a flag, which is an example of this GameStop trade over here, this range, and then this AMC pattern, this flag, you want to have a tradable level that you touch. And a lot of the times the move never happens, or not never, but a lot of times the move doesn't happen until you tap that level, because there are so many other traders with a price alert set up with a limit buy setup at that exact price point. I'm sure once you got up over here and traders saw that you broke above this resistance, a lot of them placed limit buys at $7. We go over to GameStop, right? This was a crazy move, but if we zoom in, you tested it twice before, but you gapped up with strength into that level and then broke out of it on higher volume. You can see that little volume bar over there. So to be able to time the breakouts, you need to look at two things. Are you at a tradable level? In this case, the tradable level was getting above $28. Do you have some sort of a signal like volume that is giving you a little hint that there is more buying activity than you can normally see? Look at this sell-off. Before the crazy volume, which was from this move today, you were still getting increasing volume right over there. So those little details, volume and support levels, are what can help you time patterns. This was the pattern. This bull flag was the pattern. On GameStop, this range was the pattern. You need additional variables to be able to time a move like this or a move like this. So I just wanted to talk about that really quickly. And I don't do that perfectly all the time. I'm not going to act like I do this every trade. I do not. It's happened twice in the last 2 months. But if you can be around for it, if you can be patient for it, again, nobody's going to complain about a 500% profit, right? It could take a lot of trial and error. It can take a lot of lessons learned with hard-earned money, but it pays off in the end if you continue to work harder and you don't give up. So yep, it broke out of the flag. I can show you what I was watching yesterday when I actually alerted it. If we go up, yesterday at 3:16, there was a 15-minute flag. This is separate than the 1 hour flag you were looking at. Then there was the 1 hour. I finally saw that it tapped that previous level. I forgot to mention there was also classic bullish divergence. There was an edge on the oscillators. There wasn't any edge over here. And then also you can even see the first time I made like a stronger move was right off that same level pretty much. It was over here. So the last time it had gotten down until 7, went right back up to 8. So it started to do the same thing. And of course the Powell speech yesterday helped to get that initial spike up. And then I kind of used that spike to put out the calls, because if he didn't have that speech and the market didn't rally like that, AMC might have not bounced off that support like it did. But I saw that it did bounce off that support for the second time now with an edge and volume. You can even, if you really zoom in, it's probably hard to see on the stream right there. The volume was still there right when I alerted it. So it initially did not work out. 13 minutes before the close yesterday, the calls were down 16%. Honestly, if it would have closed under this 716 support level, I might have just marked them red. But it was able to hold it, and I even mentioned that it was testing the first support right before the close, and then 2 minutes before the close, it was able to get a nice bounce off the support. So I kept them on the sheet into overnight. They closed down just 5%. Right away in the morning, literally 3 minutes after the open, I had marked them green because you got an initial move right off the open. And then I also saw that it was testing the 15-minute breakout. And then there you go. It started with 50%. You broke out of the wedge. I had the levels charted. Then it was 100%. Then it broke out of the 1 hour flag, more levels charted, 200%, all right, 300%, 450% from the alert from yesterday, first day of the swing technically, and then it went all the way up into session highs. So that was pretty much what happened. If we go over to the 4 hour chart, I also charted out this 890 level, which kind of was your high of the day today. You got a little bit of a shooting star candle off that level. You can see some highs from March of 2021, even some resistance over here in this one candle high. That's why you had some resistance there. Also on the daily, there's a 200-day moving average. You perfectly tapped that. And apart from this option trade, I've also talked about this on the stream. I alerted AMC as a swing trade to premium members probably around the beginning of last month. And today it actually hit the third target for a 53% gain on commons. And I have actually shared this on stream multiple times. Like since it hit the first target, you've been seeing these rewards risk boxes on the stream. So that one was a nice one. Kind of the highlight of today. Moving on, CLOV was also up 1.5%. We talked about that small breakout yesterday, and the only difference of this breakout compared to all the other ones that did nothing, in my opinion, was the fact that you held support for like a week or two before it. So a little bit more continuation today. You're kind of getting outside of the wedge. Your next level, I think, is around 156. So hopefully it has the room to get up there as long as you can hold 121. There's not too much to talk about it apart from that. All right. And yeah, I mean, apart from that, it was a pretty quiet day. I know we were looking at Manchester United a little bit. It just put in a new candle close high for the year, or for the last few years. That's continuing to go higher. This $23 level is a resistance from October of 2018. You're kind of testing that. Let's go over to the weekly. That's pretty much it. You have that $23 resistance, then after that it's all-time highs at 2770-ish. So I mean, if we look at this as like a broadening pattern, it kind of is. There's room, but even if we take that away and we ignore this little spike here, then it was kind of like this. It was kind of like a right angle descending broadening wedge if you ignore this. You ignore that, and it was kind of like this was your right angle descending broadening wedge. You broke above it, $20 was your breakout. Now you're seeing the continuation move. So that's just another update on that one. Meta was up 2% today. It kind of got crushed on earnings, reclaimed the demand line, and now yesterday broke back out of this wedge. So again, if you just ignore this price action, it's kind of like it's just been in this wedge for a really long time. It broke out of yesterday and gapped up today and saw some more fall through. You do have resistance at 123, however, from this low in October and 2018 lows, and then you've got a gap fill around 128.6. So nice continuation there. This also started off of a 1 hour bull flag breakout. So that's Meta, and apart from that, nothing too much. I just really wanted to talk about AMC and Fisker tonight. I'm not going to really go through all the large caps. I know I have been recently going through all the large caps on my streams, but most of them were just flat today, so I don't really see the point in doing that tonight. Yeah, I mean, apart from that, nothing really crazy happened today, so that's really what's going on. Quick update stream. That's probably going to do it for the week. Thank you all for watching the streams and supporting me. Make sure you check out the links in the description. Free course, premium, Discord, everything is there. Go check it out. Also, timestamps, make sure you check them out. They go up on Twitter and in the Discord YouTube alerts channel after all the streams if you ever miss them. And then also, shout out to Chocolate Truffler. If you didn't know, we have clips from all the streams. Spy, Bitcoin, Fisker are usually always posted. You want like a 1 minute quick update. If you have TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, you can use, well, you're using YouTube right now, there's a YouTube Shorts channel. All those links for if you want like the short form content of the streams are in the description as well. So go check those out, follow those pages. Have a great weekend. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next week.